Oh my god, don't cry on camera, don't cry on camera.
What's up, everybody? It is Sunday morning and I am super excited because a day that I've been waiting for about 20 years is finally here. I can remember being in the car, gosh, it's got to be about 12 years ago now, talking to a friend of mine about ideas, a friend of mine who's also from the Northeast like me, and my wife at the time, who was my girlfriend. We were talking about the idea of having like a Connecticut herp society, reptile and amphibian society. And at the time, they're just, you know, we didn't have the bandwidth. There was no way we could have done it. And I remember my wife, who was my girlfriend, being like, no way, you're always taking on so many things. Well, the day has come, something that I've wanted for about 20 years. The first ever meeting of the Connecticut Turtle Society is today. And we thought, you know what? We have enough of like critical mass, a couple people from around here, that we could actually put something together. So we've done that. Today's the first day. I'm not speaking in the first meeting, which is really cool. My good friend Mark D Silva will be speaking, which is amazing. And not only that, but I mean, we're getting together, right? We're building the community. So EmmaLee, who is from the Pondcast, you may know her. She's an incredible, she's a falconer. She works with venomous snakes. She is an absolute gangster of a reptile keeper and an animal keeper, and she knows her stuff like nobody else. I will be bringing her today some Egyptian tortoises. So we're turning her into a turtle person slowly but surely. So I'll be giving her a couple of hatchling Egyptian tortoises like you see right here. Really, really excited about that. And you know, we're building a community. This is a chance for people to get together, share ideas, share experiences, and make, you know, build a network of people who live in this area, which is amazing. This is not Florida. We don't have people just down the road who are into all sorts of really cool stuff. So it's going to take a little bit of work, and it may not be the biggest, baddest thing that ever happened, but it's going to be really cool, and I'm really looking forward to it. As happens this time of year, it is a little rainy and yucky outside, but boy am I excited. GPS tells me we are 2 minutes away from reaching Riverside Reptiles, which is really a reptiles only zoological facility and education center here in Connecticut. It's a wonderful facility. It is the best smelling reptile facility I've ever visited in my entire life. And I'm about to head there right now with my daughter, Madalena. And we're about to check it out and see what this is all about. Connecticut Turtle Society. It's really happening. Walking up to Riverside, baby.
Very curious with it.
Yeah, that's the point of this. You guys look great.
The same store. Thank you so much. So we're here at Riverside Reptiles. Now, Brian Kleinman is the owner, operator who created this whole thing. But anyone who knows, who really knows, and Brian would tell you, EmmaLee is really the brains, the brawn, blood, sweat, and tears behind the operation.
The bodyguard.
Right? A lot of stuff. Brian's right over there, so I could say it. It's okay. Like, I would say this if he was right here. So anyway, EmmaLee is an absolute reptile gangster, and even beyond, right? She's a falconer, and so many different things that she does, including working with venomous snakes and all sorts of cool stuff. Crocodilians. So she really is not only one of my very special friends, but also just an amazing person to know. So it's very exciting for me to give her some Egyptian tortoises, which are right over here.
Oh,
Those are yours. So you've already looked at them?
I saw them.
Those are for you. Yeah. So you're gonna keep those personally, right? Did you like how I did that switch? Is that good?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. Did you show them yet? They're so little. Can I touch it?
They're yours.
Stop. I don't know what to do with you. Oh my god, get out. I don't even trust myself to hold her, you're so tiny. Do you see this? Oh my god, don't cry on camera, don't cry on camera.
Is this the little one?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Look at those little toes. They're so cute.
In college, I worked in a C
We're wearing the same shirt because we're here
Oh, yeah.
at the first ever Connecticut Turtle Society meeting. I'm really proud and excited that our speaker tonight is Mark DaSilva, and he takes this really seriously. As you can see, the setup that he put together for us here, for all of us to take a peek at. And he is just one of the really great people in our community.
Creating a backyard oasis for your animals and a focus on breeding Russian tortoises. So these are some of the enclosures I built outside. All I did was use pressure treated wood and those little bricks. And here's another view. First slides are just a few pictures of my enclosures. That's a cool thing. All these enclosures have something in them specifically, so I put ponds in all of them so that the animals have a water source out there. There's no filter, so I do everything with plants as far as my filtration. But one of the cool things I did put in there is this one here is a bog garden, which that is a North American Sarracenia pitcher plant. That catches bugs, and it's great at catching wasps. And they're actually a lot easier to keep than you think. The problem is people try to keep them indoors, and they're not an indoor plant. But all right, that's me done with the plants, I promise. So the other thing, all these enclosures also have somewhere for the animals to hibernate in. So I'm not getting into it with the box turtles, but this cave actually goes 2 feet down so that the turtles can actually go underneath and hibernate when they want to. And I line that with a cinder blocks all the way around it, so it's basically a turtle coffin, because if somebody dies down there, I'm not getting it out, unfortunately. But so far, so good. Everyone's been really good out there. Another picture of the entrance, and this guy coming in and out of it. So I have a resident frog who either decides to live in the pond or the pool and keeps going back and forth. So. All right, so we're going to talk about creating a backyard oasis for the Russian tortoise. Year-round outdoor enclosure. So this was my existing enclosure, and I made a few mistakes with this one. They were out there during the summer, but I had to bring them in the winter because my biggest problem was it was too small, and I put chicken wire at the bottom of this so the animals couldn't dig down to actually hibernate. I did have about 1.5 feet of dirt, but that wasn't enough dirt, and I didn't want to risk it. So I decided I needed to go bigger. So I started to dig, and the original plan was going to be a 12 by 6 foot enclosure. And I realized I still needed to go bigger. And I went way bigger, and I found sprinkler heads. I decided to go bigger. My new plan was to be an 18 by 9 foot. Sprinkler disaster diverted after moving everything, and I dug down 18 inches deep. So Russian tortoises do one thing that a lot of tortoises don't do, is they dig. And apparently they dig a lot. That being said, everyone told me they dig, everyone told me they dig. I dug this enclosure, I put it down as deep as I could go without killing myself anymore. And everyone who keeps Russian tortoises is like, why'd you go so deep? So I don't know if they dig that deep. I can tell you they disappear in the winter and I don't find them, so. Materials. So the first enclosure was made out of pressure treated wood. Pressure treated wood is great, but it does rot. So I decided that I was going to use Trex deck. And 4x4 pressure treated posts. So the plan was to go 18 inches deep and 18 inches above. And I used vinyl lattice. I'll show you why. So they dig. I put vinyl lattice against the fence on the inside and the outside. So if they dig down, they hit the vinyl lattice. The lattice won't break, better than the chicken wire, which was rotting on me. And it can stay down there year round, or all the time, and the animals can't dig out. That was my plan on that. 18 inches above, it's more like 24, and the vinyl lattice to stop digging in and out. So then, I had to fill the trench, which I was calling the Horsfieldi trench, because they're Horsfieldi tortoises, and I dug a lot. And I worked into the night. This was not just a one-day project, this was like a week project. My brother was over here helping me measure and cut, because if I'm measuring and cutting, I cut it twice too small, just to be clear. And then I also savaged the sod. I tried to save as much of my grass as I possibly could. I have a nice lawn, or did, until I started doing all of this. And the Horsfieldi trench was no more. Next thing is, I had to prepare for winter. So I built an enclosure, but I needed to make sure that they had some areas to actually hibernate if they chose to, or when they choose to. So I decided I was going to build a cold frame. Originally, I just had top right corner, just a box for them to go in as a shelter. But it wasn't insulated. There was no way to really warm it up. So my plan was to build a cold frame. And the other thing I wanted to do was put a foundation there so that the wood wasn't sitting on the ground, so it wouldn't rot on you. So I built a cold frame that measured 52 inches by 36. Again, my brother helped with all this. I'm not a measurer at all. The features on the cold frame was I needed a slanted roof, so water would run down versus running into it. I wanted a kickstand, so on very, very hot days, I could raise up the plexiglass sheet to make sure that I didn't create a greenhouse and bake my animals. And again, I did that foundation to get the wood off the ground so that it would rot on me. The goal, to keep stable temperatures, to have a dry substrate, to have a hiding area, and a greenhouse effect. That was the goal. It worked. The temperatures in the winter stayed in there, in the ground. I put a probe into the ground, stayed about 40 all year round. Most of the time it was about 45 in the ground. Building a nesting area. I forgot to play a video. I'm sorry. I'll get to that. I'm sorry. Building a nesting area. So, a couple things with the nesting area. I needed the soil, I needed it above, at a higher level so that when it rained, it didn't flood. So I had to create a high ground. So that's what I did. I have a slope. This whole back area is higher than the front area. So when it does rain, the water runs away from the house and pools to the front of the enclosure. It actually drains pretty well in there because I have a lot of dirt and sand mixed into it. The nesting area also is higher than the rest of the enclosure, and it's south facing. I don't know if that matters. I was told that turtles like to nest in a south facing area. That's not where I found my eggs, but they had a spot to go there when they wanted to. And these are some of various supplies that I needed to create this high ground. Those pieces are sight breakers. It's very important that the tortoises feel safe, but male tortoises are bad tortoises. They chase those girls around all day long. So you need to have sight breaks and things for them to go running around so they can get away from each other. And that was really important that I had to make sure that was available to stress, so they wouldn't stress out so much. So this is a 3-month update. So this is the enclosure. I planted clover. Plants established really well. I added all those natural barriers and hides, plus the sight breakers. And I added a slate feeding station. Whether or not a slate feeding station matters, it makes it easier for me to clean up because I can just scoop everything off the plate versus digging into the dirt. So the plants. Those are the map. I got pink flamingos, astilbeas, daylilies, sedums, hostas, rosemary, rose of Sharon, thyme, bachelor button, spirea, and a bunch of other plants. These are all tortoise-safe plants. They can eat them. Nice thing about herbs like rosemary and thyme, they're very, very potent in scent, so your tortoises don't usually eat them. But they do dig underneath them, and I have lost a few plants because of that. Security. act before it's too late. I put in solar powered electric fences. I have cameras now, and that's a view of the camera. So, and that thing shocks me all the time. Shocks me when I mow the lawn, shocks me when I go to feed them. I can't remember why it's there, and I just touch it all the time. Security cameras, solar powered electric fence, and I have a dog. Winter preparation. So guess what turtle people really like that other people don't like? We like leaves. It's so weird. We actually steal leaves from neighbors to put in our yard. So, to prepare for hibernation, I needed lots of leaves. I had to fill bags of leaves, and I piled them against the cold frame, put it against it to create a barrier or an insulation, basically. I also took a tarp, I also took foam board anywhere that touches the side of the house. There was actually a 4-inch piece of foam board to stop any wind or cold coming in from the sides. And then I also covered the leaf bags with a tarp so that at the end of winter, and I have to clean everything up, that the bags of leaves aren't soaking wet, and I have to try getting them out of the enclosure. So mid-October, rumination begins. 2 MIAs, can't find them. See you in the spring. This guy and his girlfriend decided that they didn't need the hibernacular that I built. They decided to winter right here in the nesting area. They were there all winter. They came out and they were perfect. They actually looked better than the animals that I locked in that cold frame. We're not ready to wake up, guys. So, first year housing animals outside was a success. My thoughts: I can improve on this. Mistakes I made. So these are the mistakes I made. I took those animals, I locked them into that cold frame. This is the door to come in and out. Put a rock in front of it. They were stuck in there all winter long. I filled the damn thing with leaves so tight that the animals probably couldn't walk through it, to be honest with you. It was that tight. And then I took this giant log, put it on top, trapped them down there. So when it got too hot, they were kind of stuck. Got too cold, like it just was not a great experience for me. I also kept a little moisture in there that I didn't want. When you hibernate an animal outside, especially these tortoises, you want them to be dry as possible. You need a little moisture, but you want them dry because cold and wet is bad for them. So what I did wrong, I packed it too tightly, no escape, too much moisture possibly. What will I do differently? No barricades, I'm not locking them in. The 2 that were on their own did excellent by themselves. Did I get lucky? I don't know. We didn't have a horrible winter. I will loosely pack the leaves. I will partially cover the habitat. So where that animal actually dug down right here, I actually had one of these tubs in that enclosure, upside down, just thrown there to store it because I didn't know where else to put it. And that one animal was underneath there. But he went down before I put that there. Let me just point that out. So it's just lucky that I put it in the right spot, I guess. I'll probably do that again. I'll probably put a couple of these tubs out there, let them do their things. And then I'm going to fill that entire enclosure with leaves. Just let it do its thing. And come spring, I'll have a big cleanup crew. Who wants to come help? So why am I doing this? Too many Russian tortoises are taken from the wild and imported. Many do not survive their first year in captivity. Captive bred animals are better options for success and make better pets. Hopefully one day, captive bred animals will take the pressures off wild populations and reduce importation. Unfortunately, that does not look likely to happen anytime soon. That's true with any of our species. It doesn't have to be the Russian tortoise, but Russian tortoises come in a lot. And the Russian tortoises that we're getting in, they say are farmed, are most likely not farmed. Those animals are probably being taken from the wild, and not all of them survive.
If subscribe, join the crew. Just turtles, there's always something new.